Gentlemen, techies, and accidental clickers, welcome to our webinar. Today we are diving into the wild world of drive-by download attacks. Now, before you imagine a techie version of fast food drive-through, let me assure you this is a whole lot less delicious and a lot more sneaky. Now, I want you to picture this. Imagine you are casually surfing the web using your organization's laptop, maybe looking for a good cat meme or that perfect banana bread recipe that you plan to cook this evening. Suddenly, bam, you're just been hit by a drive-by download. So it's like ordering a cheeseburger and instead you get a side of malware with extra spyware sauce, no fries, no shake, just pure digital chaos. A drive-by download attack is the internet's version of pickpocketing. When someone pickpockets you, you won't even realize you have lost something until you really look for it, right? So same way, you won't even know this attack is happening. 1 minute you're browsing peacefully, the next minute your computer is hosting a party for uninvited guests. So these sneaky programs exploit your web browser's vulnerabilities silently downloading themselves onto your system. They're like the ninjas of the cyber world, and trust me, they don't bring sushi. Now, don't worry, we are here to make sure you don't become the next unsuspecting victim of these cyber ninjas. We'll learn how these attacks operate, how to spot them, and most importantly, how to keep your digital life safe and sound. So, buckle up, grab your popcorn, and let's get ready to outsmart those drive-by downloads. All right, now we had a bit of fun with our introduction. At least I hope it was fun. So let's get down to the nuts and bolts of how drive-by download attacks actually work. So grab your geek hat and let's dive in. So drive-by download attacks can be classified into two main categories. They are one is the unauthorized and the other one is the authorized attack. Now both type of attacks will involve the automatic download of software to a user's device, but they differ fundamentally in terms of user consent and the nature of the software involved. Let's delve into these distinctions, but first let's discuss about the authorized drive-by download attack. So this pictorial will let you know how this attack is being carried out. So these kind of attacks involve the users inadvertently allowing the download and installation of potentially unwanted or harmful software. So these attacks rely on user consent, often obtained through deceptive means. So how these attacks happen is initially, attackers create a website, and on those websites or links, users are presented with pop-ups claiming that a critical software update is needed. So this could be an update for a browser plugin, a media player, or any application that you're using on your endpoint. So these pop-ups will look legitimate, and when you click on it, it leads to the download of unwanted software. Also, while downloading uh, some free softwares online, users may encounter bundled installers that include additional programs. So the download page or the installer prompts the user to agree to the installation of these extra programs. And these programs are usually hidden behind checkboxes that are pre-selected by default. So you won't even know that you're going to download these programs. Now, once the malware in the disguise of additional programs are installed, attacker gains access to your machine. So in this kind of attack, it is the user who downloads this malware to the computer by downloading software or clicking on links or pop-ups. Since it happens with the consent of the user, it is known as authorized drive-by downloads. Wherein unauthorized drive-by download is an attack which again same like the authorized one. This again involves the automatic download and installation of malicious software onto a user's device without their knowledge or consent. These attacks exploit vulnerabilities in web browsers, plugins, or even operating systems. Here, the user does not download anything, does not click on anything, or even does not click on ads, neither click on unwanted links, nothing. Yet these malwares are installed in your computer without your consent, and all these happens just by visiting a malicious website which looks legitimate. So this makes it even more dangerous, right? So in this kind of attack, hackers will look for legitimate websites or create a fake website which are designed to exploit vulnerabilities. So when a user visits the compromised site, the malicious code executes, scanning the user's system for vulnerabilities, and if a vulnerability is found, the exploit downloads and installs malware on the user's device without any user interaction. So these attacks happen without the knowledge and the consent of the user, hence the name unauthorized drive-by download. Now we know how these attacks are performed, so let's see how this is technically possible. So the first thing is the attacker will inject a malicious code into a website. So how this is done is, it's one way of doing it is exploiting the website vulnerabilities and SQL injection. So hackers will keep looking for most visited websites and keep scanning for vulnerabilities. Once they find a website uh, uh, with a vulnerability, attackers will exploit the vulnerabilities in the website's SQL database by inserting malicious SQL code into input fields, in which in turn gaining access to the database to manipulate and insert malicious scripts into it. If not, attackers also use cross-site scripting to inject malicious scripts into web pages viewed by other users. Now, cross-site scripting is nothing but an exploit where the attacker attaches code onto a legitimate website that will execute when the victim loads the website. So that malicious code can be inserted in several ways. Most popularly, it is either added to the end of a URL or posted directly onto the page that displays user-generated content. In more technical terms, cross-site scripting is a client-side code injection attack. And one useful example for this attack is commonly seen on websites that have unvalidated comment forums. So in this case, an attacker posts a comment consisting of executable code wrapped in tags, and these tags tell a web browser to interpret everything between the tags as JavaScript code. Once the comment is posted on that page, and when any other user loads that website, just simply load the website, no other action is required. The malicious code between the script tags will be executed by the web browser and they will become a victim of the attack. Not only these techniques, attackers will look for websites with weak server configurations like outdated software or weak passwords which will allow attackers to gain access to the web server and upload malicious code onto it. And in case if the attackers are not able to upload malicious code to a website, attackers will try to compromise the third-party services such as the advertisement providers. So attackers infiltrate ad networks to distribute malicious advertisements. When these advertisements are displayed on legitimate websites, they deliver malicious payloads. So we all would have experienced this. Sometimes when you visit a website and there is this huge advertisement that pops up and hides the website contents. Now, without any second thoughts, we will go ahead and close that pop-up to continue reading the website content. So what we don't know is that the simple click on the close button of that advertisement, or even if the ads are just displayed on the legitimate website, they deliver malicious payloads onto your endpoint computer. So the first requirement for an attacker to conduct a successful attack is they will need a website to carry these malicious codes, and these malicious codes are being injected to the website through these techniques. Now, Attacker has a website with malicious code hidden, and he lures an user to the website. So what happens once the user visits this website? So once a user visits a compromised website, the embedded malicious script automatically executes, often without any visible sign. So this script scans the user's system for vulnerabilities. So when these malicious codes identify a vulnerability, it deploys the corresponding exploit from the kit. So an exploit kit is nothing but a toolkit that cyber criminals use to automatically target and exploit vulnerabilities in a system. These kits can take advantage of software vulnerabilities and security flaws and will be used to distribute malware or ransomware. The exploit also enables the download of malware to the victim system, and the malware can be diverse, ranging from Trojans and ransomware to spyware and adware. Now, once it is downloaded, the malware is installed and executed silently, often by bypassing traditional security mechanisms by exploiting the vulnerability directly. Now, once these malwares are injected to the victim's computer, usually these malware often add new entries to the system registry to ensure it runs on startup. So this helps the malware to persist through reboots as well. The malware might alter registry settings to disable security features like antivirus software or Windows Defender, making it harder to detect and remove. Now, this malware also creates new files and directories to store its components. So these can be hidden or located in obscure system directories. And not only that, legitimate files may also be altered to include malicious code, making them act as a part of the malware's functionality. So also these malware can create scheduled tasks on your computer to run at specific intervals to maintain its presence, which will cause unusual system behavior like slow performance, unexpected crashes, or excessive network activity. Now, some malwares also include keyloggers that record keystrokes to capture passwords and other confidential information. Not only that, with the help of the keyloggers, malware can access and steal passwords saved in browsers and other applications, compromising various accounts and services that you use. So there are also malwares that are used to establish communication with the command and control server to receive instructions and exfiltrate data. So command and control server is a set of computers that an attacker remotely manages to create a network of infected devices. The attacker uses this server to send malicious commands such as to steal data, infect more devices, or even compromise attacker target systems. So now we know what it does on the what attackers does on the website and what happens when you visit that malicious website and what changes have been made on your computer for the attack to be successful. Now let's break down each type of payload delivered by drive-by attack. Now once this drive-by download attack is successful, until you remove the malware, there are chances attacker may deliver additional payloads to execute a specific action on a target. So once this is successful, one such additional payload that might get delivered is droppers. So droppers is designed to introduce additional malware into victim's system in subsequent events. And once the initial dropper malware is executed on the victim's computer, it downloads and installs additional malicious software, effectively expanding the scope and impact of the attack. Next payload would be Trojans, the remote access Trojans, which are malware programs disguised as legitimate software. They provide attackers with remote control and manipulation capabilities over the victim's data. So once this Trojan is installed, Trojans create a backdoor, allowing attackers to access and manipulate the victim system covertly. They can steal sensitive information, additional or install additional malware, or even perform other malicious actions. Now, these Trojans facilitate long-term access to compromised systems, enabling attackers to carry out a wide range of malicious activities without the victim's knowledge. One next tool that they could uh, invoke into your computer would be man-in-the-middle tools. So these tools will enable attackers to intercept and eavesdrop on communication between users and the parties with whom they share private data. So by positioning themselves between the victim and the intended recipient, attackers can capture and manipulate transmitted data, including sensitive information such as login credentials, financial details, and personal messages. So as discussed earlier, man-in-the-middle attack allows attackers to gather valuable data without the victim's knowledge, potentially leading to identity theft, financial fraud, or other forms of exploitation. Now, keyloggers are software or hardware-based tools designed to capture keystrokes entered by the user. So thereby recording sensitive data such as passwords, uh, PIN numbers, and other confidential information. So once this payload is deployed on the victim's computer, keyloggers will silently monitor and log all keystrokes. And by monitoring these keystrokes, it sends the captured data to the attacker for analysis and exploitation. So keyloggers are commonly used to steal login credentials, banking information, and other forms of sensitive data, providing attackers with an unauthorized access to the victim's accounts and resources. Next payload could be the botnet. So there are chances through drive-by download attacks, attackers might deploy a botnet onto victim's computer. So botnets consist of networks of compromised computers, which in other words is called as bots, and these bots are controlled by attackers. So they are used for various malicious activities, including the distributed denial of service attacks, and it helps with lateral movement within networks. So once infected, computers become part of the botnet, which allows the attackers to remotely command and coordinate them for malicious purposes. Botnets can generate large volumes of traffic to overwhelm target websites or systems, disrupt services, or spread malware. Uh, Now, botnets are versatile tools used for cybercrime, espionage, and other malicious activities, and they also enable attackers to leverage the collective computing power of compromised systems to achieve their objectives, whether it's launching large-scale attacks or infiltrating network infrastructure. And one more payload could be the ransomware, which encrypts the victim's data or threatens to destroy it, and demanding payment in exchange for decryption or data restoration. Upon infection, ransomware encrypts the files on the victim system, rendering them inaccessible. Attackers then demand a ransom payment in exchange for the decryption key or the promise to restore the data. Since ransomware attacks are financially motivated, aiming to extort money from victims by holding their data hostage, they can cause significant disruption to business and individuals, leading to data loss, financial loss, and reputational damages. So, in summary, drive-by download attacks deliver a diverse range of payloads, each within its own specific functionality and purpose. Now, let's see some attacks that happened in real world and caused some severe disruptions. Now, the first in line is Solar Market Solar Marker malware campaign. So through this campaign, attackers used search engine optimization techniques to manipulate search engine results. So what happens is through this SEO technique, attackers push the malicious website to the top for specific keyword searches. Now, when users search for certain keywords related to business, finance, or software terms, they were directed to these malicious websites, and the compromised website hosted malicious PDFs and executables. Simply by visiting the website or downloading the offered file, initiated the malware installation. Now, the payload often exploited browser vulnerabilities or prompted users to enable malicious macros in documents. Now, Solar Markup primarily installed information stealers and backdoors. The malware collected data such as passwords, browser cookies, and other sensitive information. So, due to this attack, attackers gained long-term access to the compromised system, facilitating further exploitation and potential ransomware attacks. Now, companies who were victim for this attack faced potential operational disruption due to compromised systems and data breaches. The next in line is browser in the browser attack. That's the BitB attack. In this attack, attackers crafted convincing phishing emails containing links to malicious websites that mimic legitimate login pages. So the malicious websites used JavaScript and HTML to create fake browser windows within the real browser, replicating the look and feel of legitimate login prompts. So when users entered their credentials into these fake windows, their data was captured and used by attackers. In addition to theft, the Bitsy attack sites often included malicious scripts that initiated drive-by downloads. So these downloads exploited vulnerabilities in the user's browser to install malware. So once it was installed, you know the consequences. The deployed malware included keyloggers, remote access trojans, and data exfiltration tools. So these tools provided attackers with comprehensive access to the victim system and data, leading to serious financial and operational impact. And the next one is the Showpad backdoor. In this Showpad backdoor attack, attackers compromised the software development infrastructure of NetSarang. It's a company providing enterprise software for network management. So a malicious backdoor in the name of Showpad was inserted into the software updates distributed by NetSarang. Now, clients downloading the legitimate software updates unknowingly received the Shadowpad backdoor. The backdoor activated when the compromised software was executed, establishing a channel to communicate with the attackers. Now, Shadowpad allowed attackers to remotely control the infected systems, execute commands, and exfiltrate data. And this malware was designed to remain undetected, operating silently to avoid immediate detection as well. So it is difficult to identify and prevent this kind of an attack. And in early 2024, a significant drive-by download attack was reported involving a popular file sharing platform. So the attackers compromised a legitimate website, uh, which is frequented by a large number of users. So they exploited a vulnerability in an outdated plugin used by the website to inject malicious code. So this malicious code was designed to exploit the browser's vulnerabilities on visitors' computer without any user interaction. So once a user visited this compromised website, the malicious code would automatically download a Trojan horse onto the system. So this Trojan then allowed the attackers to gain remote control of the infected computers, stealing sensitive information such as your login credentials and financial data. Additionally, the Trojan enabled the attackers to deploy ransomware on the compromised system, encrypting users' files and demanding a ransom for decryption. So the impact of this attack was widespread, affecting thousands of users before the vulnerability was patched. Now, many victims suffered these financial losses and significant data breaches, highlighting the importance. So, through this financial loss and significant data, data breaches, highlighting the importance of keeping software and plugins updated to prevent such attacks. So, how do you detect and eliminate these malware if it is so difficult? You might have an antivirus software installed on your endpoint, but uh, these malwares are downloaded from websites that looks legitimate, and that that makes it difficult for the antivirus to detect these kind of malware entering your computer. Since these malwares are making changes on your endpoint, all you need is an SIM solution that monitors and alerts if there is any changes in the registries, directories, and event logs. So that's it about the drive-by download attacks in this webinar. So to recap, we learned that drive-by download attacks can be both unauthorized, slipping under the radar without our consent, and authorized, tricking us into inviting trouble ourselves. Also, we explored the various payloads that are delivered by these attacks and the impact that created, and we also looked into some real-time examples of uh, real-time incidents that happened because of drive-by download attacks. So from droppers and trojans to ransomware and botnets, these malicious actors can dramatically alter the victim system, leading to data breaches, financial loss, and severe destruction. So thank you for your patience, participation, and attention throughout this webinar. And if you have any further questions or need any additional resources, please feel free to reach out to the email shown on the screen. Stay safe and secure. Thank you.